She don't have to go live. All she have to do once we go live is share their video.
Okay, baby.
You know, Facebook has a new feature.
Hey, family. This is your Southern girl. You got some different music in the background today. I'm here at this beautiful Stax Museum with Mr. Tim Sampson, Director of Communications, and we getting ready to get this tour started, baby. This is your Southern girl with our seniors, family with Southern girl, my crew. Show some pictures, Tam and Jim of each other. Show the back of your shirt, baby, what it say. Our senior Southern girls crew. So we are getting ready to get started with that big head doc over there too. So family, come on in. Welcome to Stax Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. Mr. Tim, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Come on. I'll show you a couple of things real quick. Here's where you're standing. This is the original site of Stax Records. It was an old movie theater that some people moved into and converted into a recording studio. It was a little mom and pop operation meant to record country music. Then they met Rufus Thomas and they met Otis Redding, who came here accidentally as a driver for somebody else. And it just took off, and it ended up being the biggest soul music label in the world with Isaac Hayes, Otis Redding, Booker T, BMG, Rufus, Carla Thomas, Eddie Floyd, dozens and dozens of artists that just changed music forever.
And what year was that, Tim?
It started in 1957. Jim Stewart started it in a garage, in his wife's uncle's garage near Nashville Cemetery, North Memphis.
Right.
They moved here in 1960 to this location.
Well, yeah, I told them about, we had my mom's 95th birthday party here, and it was awesome, and I just love this backdrop here. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, unfortunately, after Stax was forced into bankruptcy in the 70s, the building was given to a church down the street, and they let it just sort of demolish. So it was all torn down in 1989. So we built everything here back up from scratch. Started over.
Okay. Anybody on there, Jim? Anybody saying anything?
Anita says hey.
Tell me,
DJ.
Anita. Which one? Anita who?
Anita Cowan?
Hey, Anita Cowan, my Memphis girl.
Because they have the man.
You want to see a church?
Yeah.
Let me tell you that there's a church.
Y'all got that tea?
Man, just go on.
Okay, go ahead.
We got you.
Okay. This Bible.
It's all black and white musicians working together, which
Okay.
didn't happen anywhere else
At
in
that time?
the South. Only at Stax.
Black and white musicians working together
There's Mabel
in
Jones.
1966.
Yeah, there's Mabel Jones. She was the first female artist signed to Motown. And then she
Okay.
came to Stax, and then after she left Stax, she was Ray Charles' lead backup singer for about 20 years. And she turns 90 next month, lives in Los Angeles, and has a homeless ministry and feeds homeless people
Awesome.
and gets clothes for them. She's an
Awesome.
ordained minister.
Have she ever been back here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to run out here in the church.
This is a church.
Can I get some amen here? Can I get some amen?
Get some up in here.
Amen, can I get some amens up in here?
This is a real church. This is not a replica. This church was built down in Duncan, Mississippi, outside Clarksdale in 1906 by Deanie Parker's grandparents. Deanie was the first, she was the head of publicity at Stax Records, and she was our first CEO and president CEO who helped get the whole foundation up and running, helped get all this built. But her grandparents and another couple built this church, and the congregants handmade those pews. The church was about a third bigger originally. We had to scale it down a little bit to put it in the museum. We have weddings and here. People come get married.
Right now? Today? Okay.
We take this down and let the bride and groom and the minister stand up there and everybody else sits around. But this is, I've seen people come in this church, especially some older guests, and they just start bawling because they grew up in churches like this, but they've never been back in one again. And all the old, Hank, Tina, and that's Rita Franklin's father on the screen right now.
Okay.
He was a preacher in Memphis. She was born here right down the street.
And I remember this is what they used to do, like to wash the feet in.
That's a baptismal bowl too.
Baptism bowl?
You can either
Okay.
sprinkle somebody to baptize them, or you can take them across the road to the bayou and throw them in the water, right to the sheep.
I think baptism bowl. I'm thinking about people used to do feet washing. And look at that old pot in the stove.
That was their heater.
And I don't know how many people remember this, but I remember her. Mahalia Jackson.
That's what
Oh, yeah.
funeral homes would run ads on the back of those and hand them out at funerals for people to, and in church for people to wait with.
Jim, can you get a good picture of Mahalia Jackson here? I can remember that real well.
I had one of the soul stirrers who used to sing with Sam Cooke, and Johnny Taylor came in one day, and he was telling me that before they got the piano, which would have been about in the 1950s, the floor was the instrument, and they had a certain way of clapping and stomping on the floor that got the rhythm going for the church, and it just, and because church was so long, it went all day long and into the night. People brought their food with them. So they ate after the Sunday morning service. They eat,
Go back to church.
and then go back to church.
Exactly.
And there's concerts and all sorts
Yeah,
of things. So can you
yeah.
imagine some of the food that they must have
Oh, it was
brought
awesome.
with them
I
to
can't,
church?
Man,
yeah, it was awesome.
The food was
Right.
good. The people
Greens, dressing, yams,
You talk
potato
about the
salad.
boards, scoreboards, you know, you hit that double kick.
Yeah.
Hey, you hit
Are you
that.
on visiting from out of town?
Yeah.
We're filming for Facebook Live if you don't mind. What city?
Oh.
No, you're fine if you don't mind being
I'm just
on.
being-
I'm sorry.
No, what city y'all from?
St.
no.
Louis.
St. Louis?
Uh-huh.
Got the Clothes Museum.
This your first time in Memphis?
No.
Okay, I mean at the museum.
Yes.
Okay, first time at the museum.
Yeah.
We filming, you go back and look at Alcinia's Family with Southern Girl.
Okay.
On YouTube and Facebook. That's what we do on Facebook Live. I have a little cooking show.
Oh.
And Tim was nice enough to let this be part of the cooking show.
Oh, okay.
We're so
No,
sorry.
No, you're fine,
No,
you're
you're
fine.
fine. No,
We
you're
want you
fine.
in.
As long as you don't mind
We
being.
want you in.
I'm fine
Oh,
with you. No, I'm fine with you. I mean, you want a story you want to tell about the church, I mean, that's fine with me. Yeah. And the piano, Tim, the piano still work?
No, and that is not the original piano, because when we went down to take this church apart and put it back together in the museum,
Okay.
they went to pick the piano up and it's disintegrated because it had a family of possums living in it. Everything else is original except the TV screen and the piano.
Okay, then people remember that up there, can y'all get that? That was part of the lighting for the church. That was when you put the kerosene in it, and you would light it, and that was the light. That was the electricity for the church. Jim, you don't remember that, do you? You ain't ever
No.
seen one before?
I mean, I've seen candles and things like that.
Now up there. See that up there? Yeah. Kerosene there, yeah. Any questions on that, y'all? Anybody looking?
This is all
What was the name of the church here? That was the name of it.
channel. The whole point of this is to demonstrate and show people that the real influence of soul music and all American music basically came out of the black country church. Came out of slavery. Because there was no authentic American music before that.
They can still see.
This is kind of what we call our predecessor Stax. These are some of the artists that came before Stax Records. Blues and R&B artists like Louis Jordan, that's all Ike Tina Turner's clothing and records and instruments. Willie Mitchell over here who ran high records right around the corner, was a big band leader in the 50s and real influential. Discovered Al Green and Rick Brown over there at a club on Beale Street.
Kim, did you hear what he said about that? Who closed that was? Right there. Did you hear that?
That's all
Tina
Ike
Turner.
I can Tina Turner. Get up a little closer on that.
Tina Turner's from about 30 miles north of here.
What was the name of it? Something? Some small name.
Nutbush.
Nutbush, yeah.
And Ike Turner's just from Clarksdale down the road.
Okay. C45, Jimmy, have you ever seen any of these? 45s and the LPs. You ain't never seen that for real?
On Bill Street, you know,
On Bill
a little record store.
We never had to play one.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the records. And who is that right there, Jim? Is that Jane Brown?
Looks
Yeah, that's Jane Brown's right there. That's Jane Brown. Who is that right there, T? You talking about the clothes. Oh, you can wear Tina dress today. That dress would be stylish today, baby.
That dress is tiny.
Oh.
It is not into it.
See, yeah, that's what it is.
Jim, That was what the Tim.
The house where Aretha Franklin was
Oh,
born
the
in.
house where Aretha Franklin was born in, okay, Memphis.
This is Booker T. Jones, Booker T. and the MGs. They're all in the neighborhood.
Okay. So all of them was born in this neighborhood. I'm trying to talk loud so they're here.
Oh,
So they
yeah.
all was born in this neighborhood.
Memphis Slim, Memphis Minnie, the Barkays, William Bill, David Porter, Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire grew up a block from here.
So this was a real vibrant
Yeah,
neighborhood.
it was a lot like Bronzeville in Chicago and Tremaine, New Orleans. It was a big, vibrant African American arts and culture mecca.
A lot of love, a lot of love.
Yeah, a lot of music.
A lot of music.
A lot of good food.
And it came from the love. The music came from the love.
Yeah.
Actually used to live right down the street.
You should live down the street.
I'm over there, skate around on the in front, yeah.
So BJ, this is the founder of Stax Records. It's odd.
Okay.
Odd that a white man who was a banker came here to go to college at Memphis State University, which is what it was called then. But he was a violin player and he had a really good ear for music and he was in country bands at night.
Right.
So he decided he wasn't going to be able to make a living playing the fiddle in a band at night. So he decided to become a record producer, and that's when he took that tape recorder to his garage, his wife's uncle's garage. He started recording these country acts that weren't very good. Then when he moved in here, he discovered R&B music and soul music. And he met Rufus Thomas and all the kids who lived in the neighborhood. So year before last, he came and made his first public appearance at the museum and donated that fiddle to us that he had had since the 1950s.
How old is he now?
He just turned 90 in July.
Okay. That was his first time here.
First
In the
time
year.
making a public appearance where the public was invited in the news
Oh,
media.
okay, babe, okay.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy. And this is right after he started the company. He got to talk his sister into mortgaging her house to buy him a fancier piece of equipment than that tape recorder. So she became a partner in the business, and she sort of became the motherhead. Of course, they called her Lady A, Stella Axton, and the Stax comes from the ST in Stewart and the AX in Axton.
Oh, okay.
Stax.
Oh, never knew that.
Because it started as Satellite Records, and when they found out there was already another satellite, they had to change the name to keep it
Which jacket is that behind you that is mighty sharp?
That is Estelle Axton.
Oh, that's hers? I would wear it now if I could get into this stuff. Yeah, I sure would.
There's a lot of clothes in here, right? But I heard Silver LeMay.
Right, and they're up there, we have, just saw Richard Pryor and
Richard Pryor recorded here. Mom's Bailey.
Oh, my goodness, Mom's Bailey was something else.
People don't realize how much the volume of stuff that came out of Stax because there was every genre of music. There was soul music, R&B music, but there was blues and comedy and country and pop and
all of it came
rock
from
and
under one
roll.
house.
Yeah. They started out just doing soul music, but then when they kind of fell on a little bit of harder times, they had to produce a whole bunch of albums at one time in 1969 to get back on their feet. It's after Otis Redding died and lost all their product to Atlantic Records. And Al Bell did this thing called the Soul Explosion. They literally recorded 28 albums in 2 months and took back over the market. These are just
But
more.
that's on her clothes there.
That's one of her dresses. That's her son, Khaki Axton's.
The songs up there on the
Rufus, that's Carla Thomas's long red dress right there.
And she's still alive.
Oh yeah, Carla was here the other night. Kirk Whalen did a live concert from here. Carla Thomas showed up.
Okay. And that looked like Rufus Thomas right there.
Yeah, it is.
One of his outfits, I knew that was.
That is quintessential Rufus
I could see him
Thomas.
do the chicken in that.
Yeah, he's going to be on screen here in a minute doing the funky chicken.
Look at all those people. You don't have any idea what that was.
Yeah, that was White Stax. They did it on August 10th, August 20th, 1972. It was Isaac Hayes' 30th birthday, and he had just come out with
And
Shaft.
all those people?
112,000 people. They
Here in
paid.
Memphis?
No, it was in Los Angeles.
Los
They paid
Angeles,
$1 each to attend that concert. And it was all day and all night. There was no
That was a lot of
violence.
money,
There were
though.
no problems. Nothing. Everything went smoothly, and they did it to raise money for the Watts community after the Watts Rebellion in the '60s. They were just trying to do their part to give back. And it was an amazing. There's a documentary about it that's just unbelievable.
He lived to be what age?
I'm not sure exactly how old Rufus lived, but he was in his late 80s.
Okay.
He died in 2001. Okay, now this is our dance floor.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna embarrass myself. I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
I'm recording.
Hey, that's okay. Come on. Come on, Tim. Come on, Dickie. Come on, D. You can't hang. Come on, D. Yeah, come on.
I can't see because I have so big. You turn
No.
from all I have.
Now, hey, it's up.
Look.
Now, keep getting me. Right there.
There you go, right
Jenny
there,
don't
D.
know anything about moving. Y'all stand in one spot.
That's how the time is there.
No, that's not good. It's the big stuff.
Okay. In the market.
That's the best selling Stax song of all time.
Oh, okay. Woo! Got the dance, got the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Is he wearing lederhosen?
Huh?
Is he wearing lederhosen? Yes.
I'm telling you, when this show came on in the early 1970s, everybody who was white wanted to be black. Did more for civil rights than anything I know of. We all wanted to be black and dress like that. All wanted to be on that show. We watched it every Friday, Saturday night.
And my mother wouldn't let me watch it.
That was the cleanest show ever.
That was much later then.
Look, compared to what's come on now, it's very clean.
I know that's right. Now, who is this right here, Tim?
These are the Marquis. They had the first million-selling song on Stax. These are the guys that when they came here when it was Satellite Records,
Okay.
and they had a song called Last Night. It was instrumental. And it went on to get really big and sell a million copies. That's when they found out that it was already a satellite record company and they changed the name to Stax. But you'll see that all the people on this photograph, this is the touring Marquis, who were all white. The musicians who actually made the music were a combination of black and white artists. They just couldn't travel together at the time. But it was
Sad.
yeah, it was bad.
And that's what we trying to keep time from going back to.
They needed to do the same thing.
Yeah, all right. Stay in the hotels, none of that.
And if they got caught driving down the highway, the police would, a lot of times the police, I know I've heard William Bell tell the story, they would, if they saw black artists driving down the highway with musical instruments, they would pull them over, make them get out on the side of the road, and unload their instruments and perform to prove that they weren't stealing the music.
So if he's something
Get up to son. One of the reasons they got a record deal here.
It's something make you do right. And make you do right. Yeah!
Thanks a lot.
And I agree. Bobby Blue Bland. He ain't been too long died now.
Not too many years yet.
Yeah.
But 2016 maybe. So BJ right here,
Okay.
this was the house band that played on pretty much every one of the Stax records up until 1970.
Oh, okay. Booker T and MD.
Yeah,
Booker
two
T and
black guys
MD.
and
Yeah.
two white guys, which was just unheard of. They couldn't even have their photograph on an album cover until about their third or fourth album because they didn't think anybody would buy it. But that's all memorabilia that belonged to them. They were just like a family, you know, they didn't care. And there's my precious William Bell, who just won a Grammy a couple of years ago. And then he's a National Endowments for the Arts Fellow this year, and he's 81 years old, going stronger than he's ever been in his life.
Oh, at 81.
Yeah.
He said he won a Grammy this year?
2018.
2018.
These are the Memphis Horns. They were both real good friends of mine.
Okay.
Wayne and Andrew, they were in the horn section, the trumpet and saxophone at Stax. They played on everything too, and then they broke out on their own and became the Memphis Horns. They ended up playing on over 80 #1 records, gold hits. Everybody from Elvis to Aretha Franklin, everybody in the music business, they played on their records.
Tim, are you from Memphis?
I am, yeah.
Oh, you from Memphis? Okay.
Wayne's wife, Amy, is still gets tours at the Stax Museum.
Oh, okay.
Wayne used to with her, and she still comes back every once in a while. But they were like brothers. Their joke was always that they were married and their wives were their mistresses.
Okay, in 1941, they wasn't that old.
Yeah, they were
that's
born
weird, and I
Friday.
remember that tragedy. I remember the tragedy out there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Otis Redding was only 26 years old when he got
Oh, I didn't know that the plane went down.
Yeah, that was recorded right before he died. And his plane went down on December 10th, 1967. He was 26 years old, and then the Barkays were even younger. They were just out of college. And this saxophone was fished out of the plane wreckage in the lake. That belonged to Phelan Jones. And it's Sam and Dave.
Yeah.
The great Sam and Dave. So man, hold on, I'm coming. I thank you. Put something wrong with my baby. They were called the Sultans of Sweat and the Dynamite Duo. And then David Porter and Isaac Hayes wrote over 200 songs here at Stax. David Porter's still in Memphis. He's still in Memphis and has a recording studio. I just talked to him. Isaac Hayes, of course, passed away in 2008. That record belongs to Mabel John. I think we saw the photograph of earlier.
Can I get you some? Hold on for a minute, because you ain't on. Hold on for a minute. What can I do? Try to get you. Go over this. I can try to get you on here. Do I have to move it? I can just. Huh?
Yeah, smooth this.
So the Barkays were on the same plane as
Just what
Otis
they- just- I can just turn it on. No, I want to get you some. You ain't never been nothing.
Grooming them to be his and their traveling backing band. And they were, they made, some of them stuff may have still been in college, but they were
Hey,
right
Don.
out of college. And they all died on the plane crash except for the man kneeling down over here in the corner, Ben Pauley.
Be glad you love the
Survived
museum.
the plane crash. And then James Alexander, the bassist, was on a different flight. So
Hey, Rita Faye.
died.
So the guy, his name escapes me right now.
Ben Pauley, James
Oh.
Alexander.
Barkays today.
Oh, Larry Dodson.
Larry Dodson.
Yeah, right after they all perished in the plane crash, James Alexander and Ben Colley, who both survived it, reformed the group and brought Larry Dodson on. He'd been with the Temptaries and they brought him on as the lead singer.
But Jane wasn't on the plane, was it? He
No,
didn't.
Jane was on a commercial flight.
Right, he went on. Yeah, that's how he survived. Yeah.
I was telling them that some people are convinced that Otis Redding and his group were going to be the new life of Stax, and that his death was actually not an accident.
I've heard those rumors.
Hey, Lilba.
There's some conspiracy.
Just like they killed Whitney.
And Michael.
Now who is that right there, Tim? Who dress is that?
This is Mabel John. We saw her photograph earlier. She's
Okay, the one
who's
that you
90
say still alive.
She's turning 90 and runs her
Right.
home. Now, Al Bell, right here, was another really, really important part of Stax. Al Bell came here he had been a pretty famous DJ. He
Okay.
came here in 1965 as a promotions man. And he's the one who brought in the staple singers and all sorts of other acts that ended up just taking Stax to a whole nother level. And Al lives over in Little Rock now.
Was he still alive too?
Oh, yeah, he's
Okay.
busier than ever.
Okay. Wilson Pickett. Yeah.
Elton John came by one day,
Oh,
sat
my
around with Marvell
goodness.
Thomas all day. Janis Joplin came and
Oh, I
performed
remember
with him
how-
at a Christmas
yeah.
concert. The Beatles were supposed to come record here, but the deal
It's
fell
getting blurry
through.
now. Come back, Jim, and get it now. It's
You're
getting
too
blurry.
close.
Oh, I'm too
That's
close,
why
that's why.
I'm on camera.
Okay, I just want to get him some, because y'all ain't never on camera.
Don't
Let me
leave
do
me off
this so
of
you can be on some.
I'm good, Mom. I've been on one now. When I started being me, I ain't moved.
it. So this is the Lorraine Motel back in the day.
Oh, my goodness.
And this is where the Stax artists they didn't have air conditioning in here.
Uh-huh.
And they had a swimming pool right here. And this was the quote-unquote black hotel, but anybody
Right.
could go there and hang out. Hotels were segregated back then. So the Stax artists, Steve Cropper and Eddie Floyd and Carla Thomas and everybody would go over here during the afternoons to swim and eat lunch and write songs, and they wrote Knock on Wood and In the Midnight Hour by Wilson Pickett, and they wrote all this stuff here, and this was like a hotbed for all the Stax artists and the traveling artists who came to Memphis to record in Stax. And then unfortunately, Dr. King got killed right there. And this is now the National Civil Rights Museum, and it's fantastic. And when you get here, the floors are slanted because Stax was an old converted movie theater, and they never leveled the floor out. So it was like walking into an old movie theater. They set the control in the control room up here on what had been the stage, and those are all master boxes. And then it's from here that they did all the engineering and everything. And we're about to walk into the actual recreation of the recording studio.
Days, Stax and Mono.
Yeah, these are original. This is all original equipment. They used
Mono,
to record all that music.
we had
Mom and pop.
I better be worth a fortune today, though.
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Well, everybody's going back to using this equipment now because it has a
that's
more
real.
authentic sound. Yeah.
Like, that's real. The stuff they have now, people can be terrible singers and they still make them sound
Everybody's tired
good.
of computers and all that
Yeah.
automated generated sound.
little bitty tiles, you know.
And Tim, in that room there, what is that right there?
I'm getting ready to show
Okay,
you.
babe, okay.
We just hung a mic.
These are some famous guitars that belong to some Stax artists.
Now, I know you ain't seen none of that before. Get down and show the keyboard. Not showing you. Come back up here. Come back tomorrow. Show some of that. Show all of that down anyway. The musicians would like to see that. Can you go over in there and show it? But then you can see who's that waving. Hey, Deborah Early.
Stereo. We still using the same equipment.
I hope you all are enjoying the show, family. This is just awesome.
These 4 mics on the left side, these 4 mics on the right side, because we had no pan pots and no way to put anything in the middle. So if you listen to the early Stax stereo
Organization,
which are
it was just a seed of an idea, just a seed of an idea in 1998. And then I came on board full-time here once it all got up and going in 2004. So, gosh, day before yesterday was my 16th anniversary here. I forgot all about it.
Tim, move your hands so I can see what cute shirt that is you got on there. Okay.
Just say Southern guy. We're gonna get you some soul.
I know. Look at this guitar, Jim. So that guitar and stuff.
That'll be cute, soul girl.
Look at that handle. I don't know what that handle. Tim.
It's a whammy bar.
Oh, what that do, babe?
It adds vibrato to it, you
Oh,
know, a little shape, a
really?
little grooves.
Do they still make them like that now?
Yeah, I used to have a guitar that looked just like that one right there.
Look at this right here. You still got right there, Jim. Well, I love that purse.
That's a purse?
I don't know, probably not, but you know, we have here there's a purse.
Yeah, it is.
And right here. Now we going to Studio A. And this is where we had Mama's birthday party at. Right off in here. I think with town. Is this the room now? This is the room we had my mother's birthday party in.
I'm going to tell you about this. This is the recreation of the original Stax recording studio. Like I said, it was all demolished in '89, but we still had blueprints, and all the artists came in and consulted. So this is almost exactly like the original recording studio. The
Okay.
acoustics are about the same. So when you're standing right here, basically you're standing where Sam and Dave recorded Soul Man and Hold On I'm Coming, where Otis Redding recorded Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, where the Staple Singers recorded Respect Yourself, where all that great music was done right at this very spot where we're standing right now. So this is hallowed ground to a lot of people.
Have they ever thought about letting people record here again?
We've had a couple of people do that. It's not really set up. People have to bring in a lot of equipment. But we've done it a few times. We've had a few live recordings in here.
Okay, cool. You said Kurt Whalen did a concert.
Kurt Whalen did a virtual concert in here the other night a few Sundays ago.
Okay.
And Carla Thomas just kind of showed up and got up and sang with him, which was awesome. We weren't expecting it. That was great. These are all the
I always
instruments.
thought the marquee outside, I always thought they recreated it when they rebuilt it, but that was original.
No, we had to rebuild that marquee. That's we recreated.
But it was like the original.
Yeah, it's just like the original one.
Okay.
And the original signs are at 2 different clubs on Beale Street. One's at Rum Boogie and one's at I can't think of the name of it, but there's another club, but they had they got the original sign somehow.
Okay.
And these are all the instruments that were used to play on all the Stax songs. That's the organ Booker T. Jones used on Green Onions, and that's.
Oh, that's the first song my dad bought me.
Green
Was
Onions.
Green Onion and Please Mr. Postman. And I had a red and white little bitty record player. I thought I was the bomb.
Green Onions was
You
an
tell
acid.
me nothing. I said Green Onions on the jukebox at the restaurant. And Please Mr. Postman. Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Hey, 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 Mr. Postman. Mr. Postman, where have you been? Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you should say yeah.
Tim, you see how we act. This is how we act.
Fine with me. So this is my favorite part of the music.
Okay.
This is like an art gallery. Because people back then, they put time and effort and thought into designing album covers. I can remember buying albums just for the cover art. But they started, they're a little bit, they're kind of in order according to they had a lot of different subsidiary labels, but you see Green Onions was the first album recorded.
Where's Green Onions?
So make sure you get that on there, because I ain't never seen the album cover. I just had the little 45. Yeah, we used to clip the little, what that little white thing? You would clip it in the record, so it would play.
We sell them. We sell them in the gift shop.
Ain't nothing like Memories, family. Memories, memories, memories.
This book of TMG's Christmas album, that's the song, I listen to one of them now.
Which one that you?
Is it Backdoor? No, Backdoor something, no, that's somebody else, never mind. Keep on.
But they did about 300 albums and about 900 singles, and all the singles are around the corner. All the albums, except a few that were still missing, are on display.
It's gonna be.
Are the records actually in the albums?
Some of them. Not most of them. We're trying to.
Luther Ingram.
Who's making love to your
This album.
Gotta tell you.
This album stretches out to be about 3 feet, 4 feet tall. It's the largest album ever
That's y'all about
produced.
mom and grandma.
But the cover stretches out? The cover itself stretches out?
Yeah, it folds out.
Oh.
Is it Angela
They had to,
Bassett gonna do?
they did such a brilliant marketing campaign before this album came out that when it finally did come out, they had to call in the FBI to protect the deliveries of this album, but so that nobody would steal them and that all the record stores would get them at the same time.
Howard Lemon and the singers. Did Mom Neighbor ever record it?
She did. She recorded here live. They brought in people from the neighborhood to be the audience.
You know what an 8-track is?
Something else.
She was.
I've heard of it.
This is an 8-track. Can you imagine this being inside our cars?
It was in cars?
Yes, this was in cars. We had 8-track. It might not have been like that, but it was actually in cars.
Would you put it in the trunk?
That was in the front.
In the seat where the seat was, you'd have to
Almost everybody
pick, pull it
used
up.
to have one
picked up
of
a
that
couple for
carry.
distribution, just to sell. But almost everybody on all these albums recorded these here.
Oh,
Oh, I love that. That's Tyler Thomas, isn't it? Jimmy Christmas? Yeah, I feel like that one, yeah. And they still play it.
I love this second singer.
Macy Elwood. Step to Jesus.
Everybody camera
Step
Well, I think
to
I can go on.
Jesus.
Where you at?
Step to Jesus. You ain't even know nothing about it. Step to Jesus.
Is that the new Kirk Franklin?
Kirk Franklin wish she did. That kind of
See, Jimmy, you don't know nothing about this. This is the thing I'm talking about.
Jimmy.
If you didn't have that in there, you could not play that record.
What, that yellow thing?
Yeah, that yellow thing. That's what fit on the little.
This right here, like a
thing.
little turntable.
Uh-huh. See
Yeah,
what?
that's what you get that thing.
Well, yeah, but it was a little bit of skinny
Yeah.
rail that it had.
Yeah.
That kept the record going around. Cause the big ones had the small one, but that one there you had. Jim, what did they call that, Tim?
I think it was called a spindle or.
Please.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's what had to be in the 45s. Yeah.
My best friend's
Now they track at home on my own.
and everybody's
And that's what I said. He said,
going.
where can I put him in the car? I said, no, you
Right, right.
I think I had every album.
Now my baby here. Please take me a picture by this. This is my baby here, Linda May. You love me to pay you. Get off my mountain. Pay you. Get off my cloud. Yeah. You love me to me and everybody else, mama. Look at these gold records here. Shaft.
No, yeah.
Isaac, oh, all of these are Isaac Hayes here, huh, Tim? That's how many he had, or he had more than that?
He had more than that later on.
Okay.
These are what they have in Stax.
You know, I got a jukebox at the mine. That one more up to date than mine. I have a jukebox at the restaurant.
I like yours better.
Yeah, the mine's old fashioned.
That's an old fashioned one, but it's not as old fashioned.
As yours, right? So they got the punch number.
Here are all the singles.
All of those, Tim, that was singles. That's the way to
See,
45.
we've got some social distancing signage on the floor.
Jukebox.
These are more Stax records. Johnny Taylor, the Staple Singers, Isaac Hayes, Albert King, Eddie Floyd. All these people are represented in this area right here.
And what are we coming up on here?
We're coming up on my car.
And this right here in the middle of the floor,
I
Tim.
secretly drive this at night. First of all, here's an Academy Award that Isaac Hayes won for Shaft
All right.
in 1972, which was a major thing for the music industry and for Memphis and for Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
Now, what year did his family give this put it in the museum?
I think it was around 2011, 2012, they decided they would just put it here permanently so it had a good home. It matches the car.
Oh, yeah. My husband took the car, and then come out, he was sick.
This is Isaac Hayes' 1972 Peacock Blue Old Trail Eldorado Cadillac.
Hey, you and Dr. y'all go there by the car. Get in the car, we go there by the car.
Originally, that was all solid gold.
All solid gold.
24-karat gold screws in the license plate.
What they do with it?
Y'all stand around, I'm trying to get y'all. Turn around.
It was all
T, turn around. Don't Jimmy, turn around.
What they do with the original gold?
Somebody just took it. So.
Doc, turn around. Jimmy, turn around. Tim, can you go over there too and stand a distance from him? Tim, can you go over there and stand a distance from him? Stand a distance from them. I'm trying to get all y'all on camera.
Are you smart? You gonna mess up the footage.
I'm not taking no picture. I'm just getting y'all on video. Tim, you say that used to be originally 24 karat gold? Stand right there, Tim.
All 24-karat gold.
Turn around, Tim. T.
I remember him
Doc.
driving down the street and then she was saying like, I remember
Doc.
driving down the
I
street.
remember seeing into this when I was
Doc.
Yeah.
I know you hear me. Get it, Doc.
That's a refrigerator.
Let me see if it can get a refrigerator.
Yeah.
So he had a refrigerator in the back seat. Hey!
There you go.
You thought it was A-track, Jim. Isaac Hayes.
One in there. I know it's one in there.
Is it not gorgeous?
Yep.
My cousin, Carolyn Chester, her
Yeah,
husband.
that's Titi right there.
He was sick when that did. He took a picture in front of the mama thing. That picture didn't come out. Here you go, Jim. It said, "Do not touch my ride." That sounds like something you would say too. Look at the carpet. Y'all see the carpet in the car?
White fur.
Did y'all see the carpet in? Look at him getting in there, Jim. Look at him getting in there. Y'all see the carpet in the car? There's that carpet in the car. Yeah.
Some tempted Carol.
Some tips in y'all.
But he's from my cousin.
How was gold color? Tim, how much you think back then that this cost over?
That car cost $26,000 when it was brand new.
That's a lot of money then.
But that's what my parents paid for a house around the same time.
And that was a lot of money for a house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now it's probably what value would it
Priceless.
Priceless.
Yeah. Not another one like it in the world.
Oh my goodness.
These are also people who are in Stax.
I just saw Isaac Hayes had his name somewhere. I'm trying to see what it is.
Oh, what a man, what a man, what a mighty fine man.
Oh, what a man, what a man, what a mighty fine man.
She did.
A white woman?
Yes, and when that song came out, she started getting death threats from the Ku Klux Klan, and she moved to Los Angeles and went to work as a secretary and wasn't seen or heard from again for a long time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Singing Black Union.
Wow. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, that's Judy Shlain. She did a private number with William Bell.
Tim, who is right here, Tim?
Come on, that's where it was.
Is that Elvis?
Thank you. Elvis was better looking than that.
I think that is a group called.
Anybody waving and see? Wow, look
It's a
at that.
group called Moloch. They were a rock and roll group.
Oh, okay. Dee Dee, that car is cool. Can she hear me? Dee, that car is cool. My Dee Dee now come here every year for the Blues Festival. They've never been able to come here. And they live in Ohio. And she said she was so excited for to be here. She said that car is so cool. So this Isaac Hayes here.
No, this is the Dramatics.
Anybody know y'all say that y'all gonna have me cry?
That's the suits the Dramatics. I wear that today.
Yes,
That
I
fur
can
coat
love
that
me
goes
some
with the
little mice, little mice, little mice, little mice. Me and that
How
mother.
many of the dramatics are still alive?
Probably originally maybe just one Willie.
Because this,
No, Jay, what's his name? J.R., that little short one. J.R., whatever his name, he pops
I know
still
that
alive.
we would have I know that some of them have passed away, but some of them are.
Lenny was born.
I know Lenny's gone.
Yeah, Lenny's gone.
Jay Black was gone.
Yeah.
Lenny gone. L.J. Reynolds is still alive. Rennie Ford is still alive. Ron Banks is dead. Weezy, I don't know shit about Weezy, but both Lenny and
We know
Weezy.
Jenny's on.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh?
They just made it. 1950 to 2000, they did it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Lenny died, but Lenny's dead. And Lenny died before Ron Banks. Lenny died of cancer.
That belongs to there. He died in Central
Oh,
Park. There he is wearing it
yeah.
down there in the.
Oh, that's
All
Shaw.
spread around in a
Yeah, that's
circle
Shaw
around.
like that, yeah. Yeah, that now too. Maybe stuff you can wear right now. That's what I'm thinking like today, the 70s. Oh, that was that right there. Those days. Oh, my God. Yeah, but. How'd you make it?
We had been 2015, I think, when the last guy was funeral pastor. They invited us to come decorate the West Tennessee Christmas tree in their governor's mansion. We brought Black Santa.
How did they receive that?
They loved it.
And who teapot is this?
But they used to give those to the artists at Christmas time for just get them as presents.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Alright. Take that now too.
And you'll see a lot of people in here, like you're about to walk up on Al Green and all these people. They didn't record at Stax, but because this is the only soul music museum in the world, we just decided to include.
Cool, yeah. Okay. Al Green, that when he was from here?
He's from here, but he recorded around the corner at High Records,
Okay.
where Boo Mitchell is now.
Oh, okay.
And this is probably
This is the most fucking.
the most important. This shows what we do with Stax Music Academy and the Soul Foundation. So that Stax never ended. We just showed them what's going on.
Right along with me.
Founded in 2005, the Soul Rich college principal, serving more than 7
D, you got any money on you? I got my purse in the pocket.
It's hard. Future musician. Since the school began.
This exhibit explains what
Stax
we
don't
do.
want you to have no reason not to donate. They gotta read, they gotta whack. That's the way you do it in 2020.
It's creative people. That what we do changes the mindset of many people in many positive ways.
This exhibit explains what we do with young people to show that Stax Records never actually ended, because we now have the Stax Music Academy and the Soulful Charter School, with all these kids graduating from college and going out into the world and becoming musicians,
I know a
becoming
couple of them.
successful.
The
Yeah.
Soulsville Foundation depends on your help to support these children
I
and
know a
keep
couple of
Stax
these
legacy
kids.
alive. Donations, big and small, are used to make sure
Melanie, you all can
always
donate,
know
that's what he's
about
saying,
Stax
Tim, here for you, they want to see
Legacy.
somebody listening, if they
Well,
want.
we can come back.
Okay.
This
Although we encourage guests when they come through to help us support these kids.
in this facility.
The corner phrase, the bar.
Sheriff, I know him. Next door, either behind.
It's right next door.
We used to go to the
We're all on the same campus. Soulful Charter School and Stax Academy. They're all the same.
Are they doing virtual or are they actually?
They're doing a virtual right now.
Through the Stax Museum of American Soul Music,
They're,
Stax music academy.
it's a
and
whole
the
new
Soulful
world.
Charter School.
Yes, it is.
I come through those doors, some fresh air that just goes past my face. I'm just like, this is gonna be a great day. I'm gonna learn new things. I'm gonna help
How many
others
grades
so
does the
they
school
can
have?
become the best.
How many grades does the school have? It's a charter school?
6 through 12.
6 through 12. I know that.
All right, you're about to see some performance here in a second.
Perform.
Yeah, the Stax Music Academy. They've played all over the world, Europe, Australia, Lincoln Center, and
Well, make it table.
Anybody that you run into,
Yeah. Don't think, boy.
how in the world do you think anybody's gonna respect you?
Go on, baby, play that baby.
Oh, look at that.
That's trouble in the middle.
they are not lacking in talent or
Huh?
they're not lacking in talent or energy.
Nope. Come on, y'all.
You the kind of gentleman that won't everything go away. Yeah. Take the shit off your face, boy. It's a brand new day. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Respect yourself.
Now to the kids. We got about 3 or 4 different exhibits a year in this gallery. Change things around.
Oh, I love this.
There's that Big Isaac Hayes album I was telling you about. I'll talk about it on the wall right there.
Oh, wow, that's...
Yeah.
Black Moses.
What would it cost getting one of those now? So what would it cost getting one of those now?
Black Moses.
He probably thought he was one.
Well, technically, Moses led the people he was supposed to lead the people to the promised land. So if you look at him like that, if he led black music to a certain area, he could be the Black Moses.
Do you know that before Isaac Hayes started recording here, black artists really didn't record albums, they only did singles. And once Isaac Hayes came out with his first set of albums, that opened up a whole new world for Curtis Mayfield and Marvin Gaye and everybody to start doing long-playing albums instead of just singles. He ushered that in as a
Black Moses.
Okay,
There you go.
that's a different explanation.
David Porter, Mavis Staples. This, I know the photographer who took this, or knew the photographer, he's passed away now, but
That's a nice
this was for the
picture.
Gene, like Mr. Big Stuff album cover.
Mhm.
And the photographer lived in New York in an apartment building where some ladies of the evening lived upstairs. And he just went downstairs, and this was one of their pimps. And he just paid this guy to pose for this photograph. He's a real New York City pimp.
Who is this with the tear falling?
That's Mavis Staples.
Okay.
We're solo out.
That's heavy.
Yeah, she's
Because you hear about a lot of stuff now, still going through so much.
so many
So much.
horror stories. Just
Yeah, just sad to see.
still happening.
Yep, I don't know if we're gonna change.
She's still fighting it too. She's 81 years old. Her career is better now than it's ever been in her entire life.
Really? She's the only one left?
No, she's got a brother who's still alive.
Okay, but the women and her dad.
Yeah, they're all passed around. She's a solo performer now.
Oh, okay.
And here's the good shot. Wear glasses. Your glasses are fogged up like mine.
They say the glasses are really good protection for you. That's what they saying now for the eyes. People wear glasses. Hey, Jim, get a 45.
Those are original Stax. Those are real. Those are original Stax 45s that we have so many of. We decided to sell a few.
Right, and if you don't have that little piece to go in there, it will not play.
And we sell those right over there.
Oh, so you could take those in and out of them, and
You want that?
you could take them in and out of those.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. He said he gonna show you one, go over there. I wish I had one of them recipes. I don't know what happened to my red and white when I was so proud. I thought I was gone.
Oh, let me get some.
I'm just going to do a demonstration.
Okay.
I got this at home about materials. Are they with?
See, Jim.
You do. Because the turntable spindle is only so thick.
Just like your finger.
You have to pop this in. And then that way the spindle comes right through.
And we play the record.
Now, is there only one song on there?
One on one side.
Oh, there's two. Oh, there's two.
One on each side.
Okay, 2 for 1.
You'll notice those windows in that door. That's glass with these embedded on the side.
But the 70, what they call it, this the 45, but the 72 or whatever, they hole was small enough that you didn't need that. It went right on the Tim, you don't have no 8-track. I know he ain't never seen no 8-track probably either.
We don't have any 8-tracks.
I got a thing in the studio at home to play 8-track.
I used to have one.
Did you green velvet in it? My cousin got one in his basement. Who was that there? Peter Franklin.
I think the first time I had the record shaft.
Oh, okay.
And all about reason.
Marvin Gaye. I remember this girl, Marvin Gaye died. She crying like this. Remember her name? She get me this Christmas. You don't have anything to put on? I do not work for real. Oh yeah, we got. They try now. How much they used to cost? About $9.
It's not the average price.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, $24.95.
Yeah, they're expensive to make now.
Okay, you want a Marvin Gaye Christmas lamp? You might. That's the second thing you don't ask for Christmas.
What was the first thing? I forget.
Oh, that's done. You know the thing I can't. Jim, you ever seen what they call 72, 70?
No, just albums.
But I thought there still was a size to them.
No, 78.
78, yeah.
Were older.
Okay, oh, they're older than that? Okay, okay.
These are LPs.
Is that
Okay.
place? This is supposed to be over here in the ends.
Oh, now she's organized. But Tim, this has been awesome.
Well, good.
Jim, anybody got any questions before we let Tim go? Because, you know, they'll be on there. BJ, I asked something, Jim ain't tell you nothing.
Dee Dee asked if they still record here at Stax ever, I think.
As for baby.
If they still record at Stax.
They don't really record here. They do sometimes when people perform live here, they'll record that. But it's never been set up as a recording studio since we have a small recording studio next door in the Stax Music Academy.
What was the last thing recorded here?
That would have been Kurt Whalum a few Sundays ago. Did a virtual concert here and they recorded that.
Well, I meant like an album, like an official, you know.
No. It was just a concert. Nobody's ever really recorded an album yet.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So they were just doing 45.
Now, nobody has recorded any actual records here.
Oh.
They're just some live performances.
Oh.
Okay, he talking about in the older days when they was.
Oh, back in the old days.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
they
makes
recorded
sense.
everything.
Yeah.
Probably when was the last one did. You have any idea?
Oh, probably the last big hit that came out of Stax was "Woman to Woman" by Shirley Brown.
Okay.
Woman to woman.
Oh, there. Okay, I got it.
Love her.
Any other questions, Jim?
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our family. We want to thank Mr. Tim Sampson, Director of Stax Communication, for allowing our Seniors family, are you getting me, with Southern Girl, to come to this beautiful Stax Museum. Hopefully that you all enjoyed it, and hopefully next time you come to Memphis, you will come and visit Stax, or if you want to make any contribution, I don't know, Tim have to tell you, but I appreciate you. I hope you see the Southern Girls just trying to give you something different every week. Probably won't be back on until October the 24th. We got another different show. We're going to Wilson, Arkansas. So we're going to be doing some different things this year. We're going to get back to cooking, but we're cooking now with soul. Because without music, food and soul music go together. Both of them. You got to have soul to do both of them awesome. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Southern Girl, my crew, Miss Tanja Brown, my crew, Miss Tawana Young Moore, Director of Communication, Mr. Tim Sampson, the Doc. They're trying to act like he's crazy. Jim, can you get Jim? Turn around, Jim. Turn around, Lou. Turn around. Oh, he didn't show his shirt. No, the shirt in the back, Jim. Who I say this shirt? Okay, well, anyway, love your mama, love your daddy, love your go-go. Peace out, family. Thank you. Your Southern Girl. Southern Girl. Hey, family. And family, do I look like Pam Grier? Let me know how much I look like Pam Grier, cause baby, Foxy Brown got it going on. What other movie did she do?
Say, hey, family.
Who?
Hey, family.
You don't know who Pam Grier is either. Only one of the most sexist black women that ever lived. Look her up. Pam to the Grier. Peace out, family. You know Pam Grier.
Yes, Brad.
Yeah, I can think.